actually did one clinical study under the auspices of USC, in which he took 16 terminal cancer and tuberculosis patients to the home of Ellen Scripps of the Scripps family at the Scripps Ranch, which now, as you know, that family lent its name to the famous Scripps Institute and Scripps Clinic, and was able, after 3 months, to with 3-minute treatments every 3 days, using this exact principle, taking a radio wave to tune into the frequency, resonant frequency of tuberculosis pathogen, or the what he felt was a cancer virus for cancer, and shatter these microbes. And so after 70 days, 14 of the 16 terminal patients were pronounced cured. Some of the doctors, they had the best doctors they could find to review the findings, and one of them was the head of the American Association of Pathology. The other was the father of American bacteriology, and this was considered a great success. So much so that in the 40 years that ensued, he was able to identify resonant frequencies for 20-some diseases considered to be caused by some form of microbe or pathogen. And this recently was confirmed, the proof of concept, in another embodiment by some physicists at Arizona State University, who used ultra-short, fast laser pulses to shake viruses to death. And they pretty much use the exact same concept, and light is just another form of an electromagnetic wave, and they were able to break apart the coat of viruses using this kind of technology. So it's many times electromagnetic field effects can be understood in these very precise ways, so that it's straightforward. It has, and you can confirm it visually, just like when I was in high school, and I could see that over time the growth curves of my cells changed. That when it was supposed to be at an 8-cell stage, it was at a 4-cell stage, or I could halt it and keep it at a cell stage. Could confirm all these things visually. That's what Rife did. He invented a microscope that was powerful enough for him to see microbes at extremely high magnifications. The Smithsonian Institute said his top microscope had a magnification of 60,000 times and a resolution of 20 angstroms, and he just changed the frequencies until he could see when a frequency blew up the virus that he was looking at under the microscope, or the bacteria. And so you couldn't argue with the results. These were visually confirmed. So the Rife technology is one that is still being being looked at, and there's many people trying to recapitulate it, and hopefully it will be something that can be shown in the radio domain to be just as effective as what these physicists have shown in the light domain. But it's an example of a technology that you can understand, because the current paradigm right now is very, very physical. We have drugs that we can see, right? We have pills that we can pop that are very physical, and that go inside our body and interact with us chemically and biochemically. And so that is the basis for all of our medicine today. That and surgery, where you cut someone open and take something out. It's a very physically based you can touch everything based way of thinking. And electromagnetic medicine is almost like Star Trek medicine. It's in some ways, because it works with invisible rays, it's harder for people to grasp. And so in that sense, can be said that maybe it's ahead of its time. But I always draw the analogy that if you take your car is not just, a bunch of wheels that runs on gasoline. There's a car battery that is responsible for your ignition. So you can stick a key, let's say you can into that keyhole, and you can turn the key, but without electricity, your engine won't even start. And that's why you have to break out the jumper cables and put those on, and actually jump your car battery with electricity borrowed from someone else's car battery, because that's how important electricity is to the car. So every cell has its own battery called the mitochondria, which is a battery is nothing but an electrochemical circuit that converts electricity into some form of chemical, an ion of a different state, or something chemical, and vice versa. So in the body, we make our form of energy is a molecule called ATP, but we actually use high energy electrons from the food that we eat and convert the electrical energy into the chemical energy of the phosphate bond of that molecule, which is like our energy currency that our cells spend in order to power our enzymes and power our immune system and perform all of our cellular functions. So in the same way that a car needs electricity to move all the windows, which are structural, and do all the things that it needs to do, your body also has the same electrical circuitry and the same electrical type of battery, and that's why that's how I relate it to people, so they understand it's just as important as the battery of their car. And so electromagnetic medicine therefore is not really competing with the drug or the pharmacotherapeutic model that's currently in place. It's just an integral part of the body's entire functioning, so that it can use those drugs. So if you think like a drug is like a key, and it has to go into a receptor, which is the keyhole, maybe the signal transduction is not going to work. The engine won't turn over. There won't be any ignition if there's no electricity. Because if you look at, what is the action potential, it is in nerves, which your whole brain is a mass of nerves. That action potential is the movement of positive and negative ions. Those positive and negative ions, are charges, and they have associated voltages as they move across. And so electricity is not something separate from the body, but it is something that's always been there. Just like a physical body casts a non-material shadow, the physicality of the body has an electromagnetic shadow, and what I am proposing is that part that has always been there can be just as instrumental to the health of the human body as the car battery is to your vehicle. So Rife's technology is an example of something that I think may be an up-and-coming technology, and something that people can use as a way of seeing electromagnetic medicine as doing something very, very physical. Now,